This is just a quick run through on how to use our Adobe Connect test session. When you have the link for the test Adobe session, copy that information into your web browser, go enter. You're now at the Adobe Connect page. At the top you can see it's called EitConnect, so that's our EIT Adobe Connect portal. Whenever you're logged in to Adobe Connect, if you are coming in as a student, you'll always be entering as a guest. So if you click on enter as a guest, so this is in the test environment, and normally when you're connecting to a session, put in your name that you want other people in the room to see you as, and click on enter room. Now I'm just going to resize this window so you can see what I'm doing. So here you can see that we have entered the classroom. So this is the test classroom. Now we're the only people in here at the moment. So under participants you can see that there's me. If there was a presenter in the room, if this was the real classroom, you would see presenters or hosts and perhaps other participants. So what we need to do in the room is just test our audio. So I'll just run through what you need to do. So you click on meeting, click on audio setup wizard. Quite often when you come in here, you get the welcome page. You need to click on next. Now often when you're connecting up, you'll actually get a pop-up that says you need to install an Adobe Connect add-in. I haven't got this pop-up in this situation, but it's just a window like this and it says you need to install the Adobe Connect add-in. Just install it, you need to do that. So if you click on install, it will run through a little installation process. Then it will say it was successful. You'll need to restart the Setup My Audio wizard after you've installed this. Then we go on to the next step, which is where we are now. So basically this is testing to see whether you can hear. So when I click play sound, although you can't hear it, I can hear music playing. So if you can hear music playing, that's good. That's what we need to hear. If you can't hear music playing, then have a look on your microphone. Maybe there's a volume control on the actual cord going into your computer. You need to turn up the volume and play sound again and see if you can hear anything. Also, there is the volume control on your computer down by the date and time, just right down in the bottom right hand corner. Quite often there's, when you double click on it, you'll get your volume control. So I've double clicked on it and it's popped up here. You can adjust how loud volume is, so have a play with that. Also make sure that the mute button isn't ticked. So just try playing the sound again and see if that helps. So if you can hear sound, that's good. We go on to the next stage. If you're connecting from on campus, most of the staff at EIT have a Realtek HD audio input device. If you're connecting from somewhere else, just choose whatever your default input device is. If you're having trouble using the audio, sometimes changing those devices to the other options, if there's any available, can help. Just remember, if you unplug your audio device at any stage during the testing, you'll need to go through the audio setup wizard again. Often you'll need to get out of the chat room altogether and connect back up if you've unplugged anything during the testing process. And then go next. So here it's going to test your microphone. So when you click on the record button here, it's saying please speak a sentence, so you can say whatever you need. When you click the record button, there's a blue bar that will move if it's picking up your sound. So that's good if you see a blue bar moving around. If you don't, then probably means it's not picking it up, but have a go. So I'm clicking on record and you can see the blue bar moving with my speech. So I'll go stop. Just to confirm, click on play recording and that will play back what it's just recorded. So you won't be able to hear it, but I'm going to play it. Yep, so I can hear that, so that's good. So click on next. Test silence. You just click on this button and don't say anything. Cool. Once that's completed, that's just testing how much background noise there is. Click on next and it says it's successful. It's picked up your microphone. It's set a silence level on how much background noise it picked up. Then you go finish. So at this point, because your microphone was working, you could hear volume, you should be okay to communicate in the chat. Presenters or hosts will enable your audio, so at the moment I don't have a microphone icon. So just something to remember is when you're running through the audio setup wizard, if the class has already started, nobody in the class can hear you running through the audio setup wizard, so don't worry about that. So when you're talking, to test the microphone, and when the sound's playing, when the music's playing, for you to be able to test how well you can hear, nobody in the chat room can hear that. So don't worry, just you need to run through the audio wizard, and don't worry about people hearing it. They can't, because your audio wouldn't have been enabled at that point. So that's cool. So if the audio button was here, you need to click on it and click enable audio, then it will go green. Green's good. And then you should be able to communicate with people in the room. If you have any problems with people not hearing you in the room, sometimes there's a bit of a time delay, just try turning up your volume on your microphone, or double clicking on the volume control as I showed you earlier from down in the taskbar, and adjusting the volume, and see if that improves things. Worst comes to worst, you can chat without speaking, so you can click in there and just type words. So if you want to change your chat colour so you stand out from the crowd, just I think I made myself purple, so just change your colour in here, change my chat colour, and as you can see this time now I'm purple. Something else to remember, if you want to ask the presenter a question when the tutorial is going through and you don't want to interrupt them by talking over the top of them, you can click on raise your hand, and you can see on my little person here my hand's raised, and the presenter will see that and ask what it is you need. You can either type your question or you can talk if you've got a microphone. So of course when your question's answered, just lower your hand. Something else to keep in mind is if you've got your microphone turned on and you aren't talking, just remember that if your microphone is enabled, then people in the chat room can hear background noise. If you've got family or anything behind, they'll be able to hear that. Okay, now you can see that the presenter has enabled my microphone, so we have the additional icon here which looks like a microphone. Currently is white, which means that nobody can hear us and we haven't enabled it. So we have options in here, connect to my audio, so we need to do that. Now you can see the little sound waves coming out, which means that hopefully people in the chat should be able to hear what I'm saying. If you click on mute my mic, that means that me talking now, nobody in the chat room can hear that. So if you are just going to listen in and you're worried about background noise, you can mute your mic, and then when you want to contribute, just click on enable mic and then start talking. Otherwise you can just leave it enabled throughout the whole session. If you're having trouble that people can't hear you in the chat, then click on the adjust mic volume, and there's a volume control here that you can use to make it a bit louder, or if people say that you're too loud, adjust it how you need. If at any stage you have to leave the session, or if you get kicked out of the session, just make sure when you come back in that your microphone is green. It needs to be green, so make sure you click on enable audio. If I disconnected, I'm back to where I was when I started, so connect to my audio and we should be good. Hopefully that was helpful.